To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
When Disneyland opened in 1955, the Disney name was universally recognizable, thanks to one character, Mickey Mouse. The success of the Disney Company had started with the character during the United States Great Depression of the 1930s, and he had become the symbol for all things Disney. In fact, you could say that Mickey Mouse is the Disney brand to some extent. And during the 1950s and 1960s, Walt Disney could be seen wandering around his park Disneyland with his mascot Mickey Mouse. But he also could be seen at another park, Knott's Berry Farm, the Boysenberry Farm turned theme park just a 10-minute drive away from Disneyland. Walt Disney and Walter Knott were never in theme park competition, but in fact friendly toward each other. They shared a love of trains and a love for storytelling, but Knott's Berry Farm never had the branding behind it to really sell to a massive audience. Disneyland had a TV show, a slew of characters, and Walt Disney, who was everyone's favorite uncle. Over the years at Knott's Berry Farm, they tried creating a mascot. Despite the chicken dinners, the boysenberries, and Walter and Cordelia Knott being likable people, the closest they ever came to creating a mascot character was a gold miner named Whittles. But he wasn't a character anybody knew. He had no pop culture value, and he wouldn't attract any new visitors to the park. But by the early 1980s, after Cordelia and Walter Knott had passed away, Marion Knott, their daughter, turned to former Disney Imagineers when thinking of revitalizing the family theme park. They suggested getting a new mascot and getting something with pop culture relativity. Enter Charles Schulz. In 1950, Charles M. Schulz created the characters of Charlie Brown, Linus, Lucy, Schroeder, and of course Snoopy for a comic strip called Peanuts. The comic strip would become the world's biggest, and Schulz was smart enough to license those characters out. Beginning in the 1960s, you could find Peanuts characters on Hallmark cards, and soon you'd see them in advertisements for Chex Mix, MetLife Insurance, Kraft Foods, Russell Stover's Candies, and more. The licensing of the Peanuts characters had made them some of the most recognizable in the world, maybe just outside of Mickey Mouse. So, Marion approached Charles Schulz, and a new, kid-friendly area of Knott's Berry Farm was thought up. Camp Snoopy. Camp Snoopy opened in 1983 to the public, and Snoopy became the character Knott's Berry Farm had needed. Arguably, Snoopy can now be seen as one of the most recognizable theme park mascots, and his visibility, along with some of the new, exciting rides at Knott's Berry Farm, gave the park the boost it needed to become a serious contender in the amusement park business. By the early 1990s, Knott's Berry Farm not only had a successful park, they had plans to build another park. And in August of 1992, Knott's Camp Snoopy opened inside the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota. Now, with 2 Camp Snoopy lands under their belt, the Knott's family could think about their future. But that future was retiring from the theme park business altogether. In 1997, Cedar Fair, the company who started Cedar Point in Ohio and had purchased several other properties around the United States, purchased Knott's Berry Farm. As Cedar Fair had already been licensing the Peanuts characters for their other parks during the early 1990s, so the 2 licensing agreements merged, and in 2017, that licensing agreement extended for Snoopy and the gang to continue to be the mascot characters for Knott's Berry Farm and the other Cedar Fair parks through 2025. And with the new Peanuts celebration happening every January at Knott's Berry Farm, it looks like good old Charlie Brown will be giving lots more hugs, pictures, and shows for years to come.